Alright guys, so I've been living in my Tesla for the past 2 years now, and I wanted to talk to you guys all about it in today's video, so let's get into it. So I've been living in this Tesla Model X since December of 2025, so 7 months I've been living in this one. Previously I did live inside my Tesla Model Y since May of 2024, so a total of 2 years I've been living inside Teslas. But let me show you guys this rig. This is a Tesla Model X that I converted into a van because I basically created underneath storage with the help of a builder, and that pretty much just, it's a wood panel, and I have an entire single bed right here with a microwave, pneumatic water pump, and let me show you guys the back. So this is the drawer system by B3 Customs in Oceanside near San Diego, and bam, this is a fridge that I have full access to, and it stays plugged in 24/7 inside the Tesla 12 volt in the back. Little walk around. Let me show you guys this one. So these are the X-Wing doors. This Tesla Model X is actually discontinued now. They don't make any of these. But here's the other view. Microwave, and then I have a power bank in the front. Also have a pop down sink right there. So I'm able to live in this full time with a full kitchen, a fridge, and a bed. And let me tell you guys about the story of how I started living inside Teslas. Okay, so I've been traveling so much, I haven't really had a chance to sit down and talk to you guys about the story of how I started living inside the car. So if you guys are new to the channel, my name is Nico. I'm 31 years old, and I live full-time in my Tesla for the past 2 years. Since May of 2024, I started living inside a Tesla. The Model Y before this, let's bring it back to 2017. I had went to San Jose State. I had just got a business degree, and I was ready to conquer the world. Yet I had applied to multiple different jobs. I didn't get anything, and I started my own business called Motive Eats Meal Prep in San Jose, California. And me and my brother had started it, and we thought we had a good rhythm going. We were selling about 200 meals a weekend, and we thought it was all good. And then we found out that it wasn't working, and that me and my brother were just like, forget it. We're just going to work full-time jobs. Yeah, that's where Alec had applied to Tesla in 2018. And then I was still living off savings, and I was a server at a Gen Korean barbecue, I think. 2019 happened, and I got hired at Tesla. I was a production associate starting at $19 per hour. And keep in mind, I had a business degree, and I was stunned. I was like, what is this? I went to school, and I got a business degree, and I'm starting at $19 an hour, just base level starting. But I said I was going to work hard inside Tesla, and I'm going to work my way up. So 2020 happened, and I got hired at GNC as a store associate, and then I had worked 2 jobs. So I was working GNC and I was working at Tesla. So I had actually got a promotion at Tesla. I was a production team lead, which was $24 an hour. So I was working 2 jobs, and I got a raise basically at Tesla. And I had, for the life of me, still wanted to climb the ladder. And so I actually became, in 2021, a production supervisor, starting at $85,000 a year. And I thought life was great. Have another job, at GNC, and I have Tesla. And so things were going good, so good that me and my parents actually, and my little brother, went into a house. And we bought a $1.2 million house in Lathrop, California. And so now my commute was from Lathrop all the way to Tesla in Fremont, California, which was an hour and a half one way and an hour and a half back. And keep in mind, the work shifts were 3 days one week and then 4 days the next week, 12-hour shifts for all those days. So I was working 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. I was listening to Dave Ramsey on the road all the time. I was listening to his podcast, and it kind of gave me into the mindset that be debt free, and it's going to allow you to have more freedom if you ever want to get into something else. So I kept listening to Dave Ramsey and being debt free and what that can do for you. The biggest expense is the house, the mortgage. right? The rent payment. It's gonna be what, whatever that number is. It's $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, right? Plus you have electricity and all that. In 2024, I had topped out my salary, $120,000 a year. I thought I was on top of the world. You know, things are going great. I actually got rid of my GNC job. I thought, you know, I don't need that no more because I'm making 120 grand a year now. You know, life is great. And I thought it was smooth until 2024 in April. I'll never forget it. I was driving on I-580, and it was 4:30 in the morning. My work shift started at 6:30, so I was in the dark driving to work on FSD in my Model Y. I had gotten an email saying my work account had been deactivated, and I was like, what does that deactivated mean? And I would text my boss, and my boss said, everybody got it, just come in. And then I was like, okay. So I came in to work to Fremont, hour and a half away, went to the badging gate, slid my badge, and it turned red. And the security guard had said I had been laid off. I don't work there no more. So after 2019 to 2024, I got laid off. And I thought my whole world was stunned. It was just broken. I was like, I looked left and right, man. I was like, damn, I remember coming here all the time, every work shift. I slept actually in the parking lot to avoid the 3-hour round trip commute. For about a year, I did that because I used the showers at the facility in Tesla, Fremont, California. And they had microwaves inside the break room. And yeah, it would be awkward to see my coworkers inside the bathroom sometimes at 6 a.m. But, you know, had to get the job done, right? And so, you know, got laid off. And I'll never forget it. I went back home inside that $1.2 million house. And I told my parents, I was like, I just got laid off. And I don't know what to do. And it shocked me. And it did my parents too.
Electric car giant Tesla laid off around 10% of its workforce in April. That translates to about 14,000 jobs. Many who worked at the factory in Fremont were commuting from Sacramento, Stockton, and Lathrop.
Your reporter covering San Joaquin County, Esteban Reynoso, is in Lathrop, where one man is speaking out about his experience with the car company.
Everything was going right for Nico Murillo. He had bought this house here in Lathrop right behind me, as well as a Tesla while working at Tesla, and 5 years in, he got laid off. Now he has to look for a new job and sell the house here in Lathrop.
Got laid off recently on April 15th, a Monday.
Nico Murillo worked for 5 years at Tesla's car manufacturing factory in Fremont, building the cars we see on the roads. He commuted almost every day, the hour-and-a-half drive to and from work and home in Lathrop.
Pulling the car, we were putting the parts in, and then sending the car down the line.
And on the days he didn't commute,
Bed goes there, and then this is a trifold bed, so you collapse it and put it in the trunk.
he would sleep in his car to save time.
It was tough, man.
Dedicated to his work at Tesla, that is until he tried to use his badge at the employee entrance like any other day.
This big security guard, in his deep voice, was like, "Hey, man, sorry." And then he pulled me to the side, and I was like, "Oh, this is not good." And then he's like, "Hey, man, sorry, you've been part of the layoffs. Yeah, you don't work here anymore."
Just like that, Murillo was laid off. Around 14,000 other Tesla employees met the same fate that April morning, and now Murillo has to make some tough decisions.
Yeah, gotta sell the house, gotta do what I gotta do to, you know, keep living.
A home he bought just 2 years ago. But Murillo isn't sour towards Tesla.
I like the brand, how luxury it looks. I like the camp mode in there. All of that is like, it excites me to, you know, to have worked for the company, yeah.
After the house hopefully sells, he says he will go back to living in his car. He says the Tesla door closing has allowed him to follow what he truly wants to do.
Perseverance and grit. Once you have that attitude, the world is endless, right?
Murillo will be documenting his journey on YouTube, living in his car, as well as his new job at the GNC inside the Stone Ridge Mall in Pleasanton. He says that it needs a lot of traffic and that anybody can come and say hi.
Alright guys, we have KTVU Channel 2 News. He has the big giant camera. Look at that thing. Oh my god. So yeah, so they're here. They interviewed me. A little quick, like, you know, a couple minutes, but yeah, kind of cool. Showed them around the car. Gave them a little tour. The whole setup over here. Pretty dope. But, you know, there's always something good and something great out of something bad. and you could always turn water into wine, or you could turn a bad situation into something good. So I was like telling my parents, I was like, what if I like put this on YouTube? Like, I know I signed an NDA, but like if I put this on YouTube, maybe other people will share the same experience, and I didn't know that a lot of people had this issue of getting laid off, even though they worked at a job that they were at, and you could work so hard at something but still be let go. And I didn't know that concept, and this is very common in like the tech field. I didn't know this. This is my first time getting laid off. And yeah, so long story short, we had this meeting with my parents and my little brother, because we were living in the $1.2 million house in Lathrop, and I was like, what do we do? Something's got to go. We can't afford this house anymore. I think we're gonna have to sell. So that's what we did in May of 2024. We had to sell our house. So the following month after I got laid off, we put the house on the market. It got sold in a couple weeks because I ended up being on the news for getting laid off from Tesla. And soon the YouTube started growing, and but I was so lost. I was so completely lost. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna work at GNC again, because I had worked there before. I just took any job because I was applying. I kid you not, guys. I was applying for every job I could find. Even a Target cashier I couldn't even get in. And it was so I was so distraught because I had put so much time and effort into a company, and to be let go, And so after going to GNC in the Stonehenge Mall in Pleasanton, I started living in the car full time in my Model Y. And I was like, you know what, this is not that bad. But I did have some major difficulty, guys. I, for the life of me, couldn't find a gym that was 24 hours. I went to 24-hour fitness. I thought it was good, and it turns out that it was not the best experience. There was, if I had to tell people what to do, before we started living in the car, this is what I would tell them. Because 24-hour fitness, the showers were really nasty. It smelled. There was people spraying underneath me, and for the life of me, I couldn't do 24-hour fitness. So this thing I discovered, a van life person on YouTube, Anytime Fitness. They're franchised. They have gyms all across the U.S., and I didn't even know this. And also Planet Fitness. They have gyms all across the U.S., and you can go in there and shower. Some of them are not 24 hours, but Anytime Fitness is 24 hours because you put in a badge right here and you just sign in. And I didn't know that, and so that's how I shower and use the bathroom. And I was like, oh, this is quite interesting. Maybe you could do this all across the country, And so I slowly realized how bad it actually was in the car when I was living in it in Pleasanton when it got in June. Because remember, it's April, May, and then now June of 2024. And my fridge started overheating. It was so hot in the car, and I didn't know that Teslas had a fridge in the sub trunk. That just mind boggled me. And then I didn't know there was Dometic water pumps to squirt water. And I was like, what? I was like, this exists at REI? And so water tank. I didn't know you could have a microwave in a car. So I had got a power bank that was strong enough, and by Blue Eddy or EcoFlow. That's the time I had it. But now I have Blue Eddy, and they're a great sponsor, and I'm able to have a microwave. So microwave, fridge, water, a bed. I got on Amazon to just cut this, and so all these things I started figuring out on my own, and I had to learn the hard way by doing all of it myself. And hopefully this inspires you to either car camp or to to experience what it's like to live in a car. Because this is the caveat. This is the turning point. When we had that meeting, me, my little brother, and my parents, I'll never forget it. I'm a super big Excel sheet guy. And so when I saw rent, electricity, gas, water, garbage eliminated, and also got rid of my car note, so I didn't have car payment. So I got rid of all the big expenses and started living below my means. And I started saving, get this, $1,500 per month just on a regular GNC job. And that's almost basic entry level, guys. And so I started figuring out, like, wow, man, you could save a lot of money by just living in a car. And, it's not easy, but it's possible and it's doable. And I'm telling you guys, the other side of, like, living in the car is like savings, right? Saving money, right? But also experiencing and living out and enjoying nature and being outside. Caveat, I do stay in a house from the months of November, December, and January because and some of February, because those are the coldest months of the year and it's really hard to live in the car. So I would go actually live in it part-time. So that's the caveat. But you do save a lot of money by living in the car. Just saying, you don't have to do it. I'm not telling you, but like the experience of living in it full time is awesome. Since August of 2024, that's when I quit my full-time job at GNC, and I started doing YouTube full time because all the views and the ad revenue and the sponsors started coming in. That's pretty much how I started living inside the car and traveling full time and doing this YouTube channel. All right, guys, I've been living in my Tesla for the past 2 years now, and one of the things that I really wish I had when I first started living in the car would be a portable camping chair, but not any portable camping chair, one that's easy to put away, easy to carry around, but most importantly, easy to deploy, like takes a couple seconds just to set up. All right, fam, my front porch is down bad and I need a chair to help me edit these videos while I'm outside. I really like the Overmont camping chairs because it's super compact and it fits right underneath my bed frame. Items that save space is a huge priority for me because it's really cramped inside the car. And what I love about the Overmont camping chair is that it's a quick deploy, so all you gotta do is flick of the wrist and it's set up. It took me less than a minute to set this up, and that's what I really like about the Overmont camping chair. And this camping chair does more than just having a place to sit. It allows you to connect to nature, and especially when reading outside, I believe having the correct environment is going to inspire you to be more creative. Plus, I literally hate not having a place to sit, especially when there are no chairs in sight. And to put away the camping chair, all you got to do is disassemble the fabric and then put the spokes together. It doesn't take that long. It only takes a couple seconds. You fold it like it's a little lumpia and boom, it's put away. I'll have a link in the description box below, so that way you guys can order your Overmont camping chairs, so that way you can enjoy the great outdoors while sitting down, because ain't nobody got time to sit on the concrete or somewhere else. So thanks Overmont for sponsoring today's video, and now back to the video. I did feel lost when I had started living in the car in the Tesla because I was constantly traveling in August, right? And so there's this one quote. It says, travel far enough and you meet yourself. And that one really hit me when I read that quote, because it's like you start to understand yourself when you start living in a car and start reading tons of books and start waking up to nature and hearing birds and like seeing the sunrises and sunsets, and I'm super grateful. I've learned gratitude, and I've also found God too. And you're never lonely when you have God. That's one thing. And there's something great about just living nomadically, right? Not having a responsibility of a house and just being outside in nature in parking lots, or I don't know. I really do enjoy it, and I hope you guys get a chance to actually car camp or be outside in nature and overnight camp somewhere, which brings me into a segue of where do you actually car camp at, right? And where do you actually sleep at? And so majority of the places I sleep at is either neighborhoods, the 24-hour gyms, and you could park at Love's too, like also truck stops, and also rest areas. But a majority of my sleeping overnight is at like the 24-hour gyms and also in neighborhoods. Like I would park in the neighborhood, and then after I'd park in the neighborhood, I got to go to the bathroom. I just drive 2 minutes away from the gym, and I would just come back to the neighborhood and just park there and camp there overnight. And so that's my strategy I've been doing for the past almost like 2 years now, is exactly that. And it's not that hard as long as you figure out your rhythm and you look at Google Maps and stuff. It helps out a lot. I read this one book called The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. It's a great book, but it says that problems will eventually happen. It's not a matter of if, ladies and gentlemen, it's a matter of when the bad things happen, and are you prepared for it, right? And so when these bad things happen, it's okay. Like, just know in the moment that these things will come and go, and like this too shall pass, right? And it's like, your fridge might overheat, or like it gets too hot in the car, or the gym doesn't have a shower actually, and so you have to, or the gym actually is not 24 hours at Planet Fitness, and you got to go to the next one. So these things eventually they happen, but it's the mindset that shift of like, hey, it's okay, because bad things happen eventually, and this is just one of the bad things. It's like the highest of the highs, and the lowest of the lows, man. And you got to take it all in stride. And that's goes on with a lot of athletes, right? You'll win some games and you'll lose some games. And if you're a quarterback at a football game and you throw an interception, are you going to keep your head down, or are you going to work through it and go on to the next play, right, or the next drive? And it's kind of like that same thing of like, I used to play football, and that's the mindset that you got to have when living in a car. It's like next play mentality, right? And you just got to keep moving forward no matter what happens to you. You got to keep going. And don't stick your head in the sand if you got laid off, or you lost your job, right? Or like you lost a house, or something really bad happened to you, right? It's like, okay, understand it, reflect. It's good to understand these emotions and hold them, but don't hold them on too close to where you're stuck, right? And so that's what I learned, is like, even like the greats like Taylor Swift, she said, catch and release, right? Like, catch the feeling, understand it, feel it, but then release it, right? Like, that's the thing, the mentality that a lot of people don't think about when living in a car, is like that catch and release mentality, right? And that bad things happen, okay, let's move on, right? And so that having that attitude, and also having an attitude of gratitude, like, I get to do this, this is a life that I get to live, right? And that we only get one life, and how do you want to live it, right? And so my life right now is to inspire, to motivate, to uplift others, to either car camp, or to live nomadically, or just to have the right mindset. And I hope you guys like enjoy the videos that I create every single week, because I get a chance to motivate and uplift you guys, and I get to be a motivator. That's what I've always wanted to do, as a supervisor at Tesla, as a as a person in football. I was like one of the team captains, and so I was a running back, and like I just want to inspire you guys, and to keep your head up even though things are down, but you don't stay there, right? So I just want to end the video here. I know I've been ranting for a long time, and I just wanted to give you guys like my story of how I started car camping and living nomadically in a car, and hopefully you guys get to enjoy being outside in nature, or go car camping once in a lifetime. And if not, it's okay. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.